Speaking of climate change. Okay, so before I dive in, I want to ask you guys a question. By a show of hands, how many of you in the last month have made a purchase with the health of the planet in mind? How many of you made a sustainable purchase? Okay, many of you, not all. I'm going to flip the question on its head. How many of you would like to make a sustainable purchase if you could? If it was the same price, if it was possible, if it was easy. So this is really the reality of modern consumerism. In fact, the average American makes hundreds of purchasing decisions a day, tens of thousands a year, millions. We make millions of purchasing decisions in our lifetime. And some of these things seem pretty mundane, like toilet paper or toothpaste. No big deal, right? Actually, a very big deal. Every purchase that you make is a vote for the kind of world that you want to live in. One where it's 80 degrees in the morning and then you're shivering yourself to death in the middle of the afternoon, where neighborhoods are erased by wildfires, or one where we're on a healthy planet and everyone's thriving. So our purchasing decisions really are where the climate crisis and consumerism, the $13 trillion a year consumer industry, collide. It's a really big problem, but it's also a really big opportunity. Let me just make one thing clear before I go on. Climate change is not your fault or your fault or your fault. And for years, corporations and even legislators have promoted this myth that climate change is an individual responsibility. All the while, they're still polluting, destroying, they're still delaying real progress. So this notion that climate change is an individual problem or an individual responsibility, that's not just untrue, it's frankly unfair. But here's the thing. Collectively, we actually can solve climate change. There is still time, we can still get it done. Because when we band together, we can make the system change, not just one person changing one at a time. And this is already happening. When we talk to consumers, 73% of them say they will change brands to make a more sustainable option. The problem is those options don't always exist. And so I'm going to tell you a little bit about my story, because my whole life is about creating more sustainable options in the world. So I'm going to take you back in my spaceship to 2019. I was a new mom with a new baby who was just starting to eat solids. And I remember thinking, what am I going to feed this little baby? In a world where climate change is accelerating, what are the really good choices? And I was standing in my kitchen, I picked up, of all things, a box of crackers. I picked up that box of crackers, I looked at the ingredients, I looked at the packaging, I looked at the plastic, and it made me honestly recoil. Because I felt like, couldn't there just be an option that's good for him and good for the planet at the same time? It felt like a really solvable problem, and so I did what I do. When I don't know what to do, I built a company. I built a company to solve the problem. I built a snack brand called Moonshot, where we literally baked sustainability into every cracker and every decision. And the brand was so successful that it was actually acquired by Patagonia. But after the acquisition, I asked myself, there's probably more work to do here. We need to create more than just one brand at a time. We actually need to change the entire system. And that's what led me to build Planet Forward, which is the company that I run now, where we help all consumer brands to measure, reduce, and improve their environmental impact. So let's come back to the question that we're here to talk about today with me. How can we make the sustainable choice the default choice? Well, it really starts with a systems change. We need technology like Planet Forward that makes it easier for brands to measure, reduce, and take action on their environmental impact. It takes everyone in this room deciding that we're going to demand better, because when we do, it has an impact. And frankly, it takes politicians to get off their butts and actually make change. And I'm just going to say, we're living in a time when we're seeing what happens when the guardrails come off. Because voluntary action is not enough. We've seen America pull out of the Paris Agreement. We've seen national parks workers be terminated. We've seen threats of forests being cut down in the United States. I mean, it's almost like too much to stomach, but there is an answer, and the answer is all of us. Because when we band together, we can create systems change, and systems change changes the world. Thank you.